Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. My name is Bishop Stewart, Chairman of the Council here with Tryp Riders, which is a groundbreaking and revolutionary approach to the rideshare industry. Now, again, the name of our company is Tryp Riders. We are located in Las Vegas, Nevada. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you are in a quiet area where you can take notes, and feel free to ask your questions in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And I believe by the time we get done with this presentation, you're going to realize that you are absolutely in the right place at the right time. The question's going to be, are you the right person? So let's go ahead and get started. Now, as an entrepreneur, when you're looking at a new business model or opportunity, it's very important you understand a couple of things. Number one is you want to be a friend of the trend, right? You want to be able to understand and research how the trends are happening right now in the current marketplace, and also understand consumer behavior. So you want to understand, how are consumers going about their daily lives? How are they communicating with one another? And how are they, what are their spending habits and so forth? The reason for that is because consumers will always dictate the market. Okay, again, consumers will always dictate the market. So when we're looking at the rideshare industry, it's a massive, massive industry. What we're doing is we're looking at the industry as a whole, and we're seeing certain pain points that currently exist in the marketplace that we believe with our new innovation, we can solve a lot of those frustrations out there. Now, this is a great quote by our CEO, Mr. Robert McNulty, where he says, "New ideas bring us a new opportunity to a crossroads where pause or moving forward with bold new initiatives of disrupting the disruptors can happen." Okay, now who are the disruptors? We all know the big conglomerates out there like Uber and Lyft, etc. Amazing organizations, right? They're worth billions of dollars, and they've done an amazing job of ushering in this completely new platform, if you will, and way of going about transportation. But we see certain pain points in the industry that we believe we can bring solutions to. And we like to say, we're going to turn the rideshare industry upside down, as you can hear from Mr. Robert McNulty right there in that quote. And we like to say, really just make the rideshare industry the way it should be, right? Again, nothing wrong with the companies that are out there, phenomenal companies doing an amazing job. But as entrepreneurs, we solve problems, right? We solve pain points. So Tryp Technologies, we are a software-based organization, so we have a SaaS business model, and we have a subscription-based approach to the rideshare industry. Now, when we're talking about certain pain points, this is really, really important to understand. Right now in this new economy, there's a lot of concerns about consumer data, so on and so forth. So we're very proud to be the first rideshare company in history to be blockchain based. Okay, so we do have blockchain being tied within our business model and our technology. But in addition to that, one of the biggest pain points we see in the industry is that the drivers are the backbone of the industry. Okay, no question about it. Without the drivers, there would be no rideshare. But a lot of drivers out there feel a lot of frustration. Because they feel like a lot of their income is being taken from them. So our drivers that register as partners here with Tryp Rides, for a low monthly fee, they get to keep 100% of the fare and the tip for every single ride. Okay, so you heard me correctly. If you're a driver out there, you probably just said, wait a minute. Did I hear him correctly? Yes, you get to keep 100% of the fare and the tip for every single ride. We don't touch $1 of it. So our riders enjoy low fares on our innovative rewards platform, but also, again, 100% of the fare and tip. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to start calculating in your mind, if you're a driver right now, how much more money would you be able to put in your pocket and take care of you and your family if you got 100% of the fare and 100% of the tip? Right? That can happen here with Tryp. But before we go into, other initiatives and innovations that we're bringing to the marketplace, I want you to really understand where the industry is and where the industry is predicted to grow, so you can really understand the magnitude of the opportunity here. So right now in this industry, in just the US alone, there's over 2 million people that are earning a living as a rideshare driver in the US alone. Now, I'm out in Irvine, California, and I can tell you, in just Irvine, California, and Los Angeles County, just these two counties alone, there's over 86,000 drivers. Okay, 86,000 drivers. And I heard in New Orleans, there's over 110,000 Uber drivers. Massive, massive numbers. Now, I want you guys to keep these numbers in your mind because they're going to play a role here as we go throughout the presentation. Now, that's the drivers. Now, what about the riders? Right now, there's over 60 million plus riders in the rideshare industry, which has completely crushed the taxi industry, right? Completely changed the taxi industry forever, the transport industry. Now, because of this user base, it has caused Uber and Lyft, again, amazing companies, to be now worth tens of billions of dollars. And if you've been following along, here just recently, Uber and Lyft actually just did their IPO and worth a lot of money. But we believe, and I think you're going to agree by the time we finish this presentation, that we're about to disrupt those disruptors with our new innovation to the marketplace. Now, where's the industry at right now? This is really, really important because, you know, when you're looking at something from a business perspective, you want to make sure that it's something that is moving forward, right? Meaning that, you know, it's something that is growing. It's an industry that's going to keep growing in demand. Now, the rideshare industry is expected to go to a $285 billion with a B dollar industry by 2030. That's an 8-fold growth, you guys, by 2030. Now, here's the number that really blows my mind. Now, they calculate, this is by Market Watch, that they calculate there's about 15 million rides per day right now in this industry. 15 million, and that's predicted to grow to a 97 million rides per day by 2030. That's just an astronomical number, right? To 97 million per day. And again, keep these numbers in mind because they're going to play a role here towards the end of the presentation. Now, what are we doing right now with Tryp Rides? Well, we are launching in the US market, and what you're looking at on your screen right now are some of the projected markets that through our R&D we realize are crucial areas for us to target in the rideshare industry and start really siphoning off some of that market share. Now, these that you're looking at right here, these 51 cities, are not in any particular order, okay? So that doesn't mean we're gonna launch, you know, Salt Lake City, be our 51st place that we open up, okay? These are not in any particular order, but these are done through our R&D. We realize, again, that they are strategic areas for us to penetrate in the rideshare industry, okay? So we are poised and positioned here in the US market. Of course, we will be going internationally as well as at some point. But let's go ahead and dive into, you know, who's our competition. Now, this is very important to understand because knowing your competition allows you to get a snapshot, if you will, of where your organization can go and potentially where your organization could surpass. So right now, again, Uber, right? It's the godfather of the rideshare industry. They're the ones who really gave birth to this whole movement, right? This whole new approach to the transport industry. And they're in over 60 countries around the world, and they've been recently valued at over $70 billion. And I love how my good friend, an amazing entrepreneur, Mr. Al Pal, says, you know, even when he's taking other ride shares like Lyft or Via or Curb or something, he always tells people, I'm getting an Uber. Why? Because that's how strong their brand is. So think about this. Lyft, the same thing. They launched about 4 years after Uber, and they're worth billions of dollars as well. And then we also have Via. Now, you might not have heard of Via, but they launched a little bit after Lyft, but they're only in 3 large markets. Now, there's been a lot of companies that have launched in the rideshare industry, but the problem is what you see here on the last line. Most of them have a very similar program as Uber and Lyft, right? So I want you to think about this. As an entrepreneur or as someone who's building a company, if you want to build a global brand, you have to have what's called a USP, a unique selling proposition, right? People really need to understand why they should leave a product, a service, or a platform that they're already utilizing to come over to yours. It's really, really important you have a unique selling proposition. So what sets us apart here at Tryp Rides? Well, number one is our exclusivity. It's only by member invitation only. So if someone wanted to be a driver, so on and so forth with our organization, it is by member invitation only. So we have that exclusivity or VIP feature, if you will, that people absolutely love. But also, remember, we have a SaaS business model. So we have a flat fee membership where drivers pay as low as $199 a month to take full advantage of our disruptive technology. And I can tell you, I've been on the phone with numerous riders from multiple different companies, and so many of them are like, Bishop, if I was only paying $199, which I could make in a day or two, that means the rest of my month would be free. Right? So they're calculating in their mind how powerful of a difference this is here for them in terms of being able to pay their bills and take care of their families that much faster. Now, also, in addition to that, because, we're looking at the rideshare industry, and again, the drivers are the backbone of this industry. So we want to make sure drivers are well taken care of. So another way that we can provide value for the driver is instant payments. So with our unique peer-to-peer technology, this allows users to pay drivers directly, okay? So for instance, let's just say Carlos picked me up to take me to a certain destination and the fare was $50. When I pay that $50 through the application, guess what? Tryp doesn't take that money first and then give it to Carlos. That money would go directly to Carlos, 100% of it, and directly into his bank account. Okay, so it's absolutely a powerful, powerful model. And again, we also talked about how it's more lucrative, where drivers always make 100% of the fare and the tip. But here's one of the ones I really wanted to key in on here for just a moment, our true sharing economy. We wanted to create a win-win situation for everyone, where the drivers win, the riders win, and even the spectator wins, someone who's not even a driver or a rider with our company. And the way that we accomplish this is with our free viral app that allows anyone to earn cash every time they refer a user to our platform. And I'm going to cover that in more detail later in the presentation. So those are some of the pain points that we're solving in the rideshare industry for the driver. But what about the rider? Well, one of the ways and pain points that we saw is the surcharge. Again, don't take my word for it. Go do your own research. The surcharge is a very, very big deal. A lot of people, including celebrities, are even pushing back at some of the conglomerates out there, some of the big organizations, because they feel that the price is being manipulated. In fact, I was speaking to one gentleman who was actually a driver, and he had a passenger in the car, and the passenger was upset because the passenger had did the same exact drive the day before, and it was $20. But for some reason that day, the next day, it was $40, right? So you can go to the same destination at a different time of the day, and all of a sudden you're paying more money, or you can go to a certain event or certain location. So here, there's no surcharge, right? So I believe that that's going to attract a lot of riders to our platform, having the no surcharge. So that's a big pain point that we solved. And the reason I love saying pain point, you guys, is because as entrepreneurs, again, we solve problems, right? We provide solutions. That's how you grow a massive organization. So where are we going? Now, I kind of call this personally, this is not from corporate, this is kind of just for me. I call this our comic relief slide, because you can see here it says, we predict in 2019, 75,000 drivers, 2020, 150,000 drivers. But I got to tell you, just based on what I've seen happen here over the past several weeks, and the excitement, the momentum, the type of people that have been coming to the table here, and the feedback, I personally think we will have hundreds of thousands of drivers here by the end of 2019. And I say that because of our disruptive business model, along with our powerful referral marketing system that you're going to hear about in just a moment. It really makes this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here that you can partake of. Now, let's dive a little bit more into some of the innovations that we have here with our technology, and more of the pain points, because again, it's really important you understand what sets us apart. Okay, so when you're making a decision of who you want to partner with, you really have to understand, okay, how are they going to siphon off the market, right? How are we going to siphon off market share? So let's look at this. Now, these are certain features that are also available on our application, but I'm just going to pinpoint a couple of them. Now, one of the other pain points we see in the industry is that with some of the other organizations, a rider cannot schedule a ride with the same driver, right? So if you like a driver, you love the conversation, you're really getting along with the individual, you feel safe with them, etc., you can't schedule with that same driver. right? So that creates a problem there for the rider. But also, let's look at it from the driver standpoint. So with our platform, what we've done is you're going to be able to actually schedule with your favorite drivers, right? So you're going to be able to put your driver there, have them in your favorites, and you're going to be able to schedule with your favorite driver. So that's really powerful, because as a driver, what does that mean now? That means that you can now build a real book of business, right? Repeat customers that are ordering your service over and over and over again. So it's a powerful, powerful mechanism for both the driver and the rider. Now, here's one that really hits home for me. We realized that there was a big portion of the market that was being completely ignored, right? A demographic that was being completely ignored by the rideshare industry, and that is the parent, right? So here's a real story. So I was speaking on stage with John Maxwell, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, so on and so forth. And we come out of the event, and everyone's going to another location. People are jumping into their vehicles. Jumping into Ubers and going to this location. And me and my wife are like, oh, we can't go with you guys in the Ubers because we had the kids, right? We needed car seats. So with our platform and our application, someone's going to be able to schedule a driver that has the car seat functionality. So now we are ushering in a demographic that's been completely somewhat ignored by the rideshare industry. So it's absolutely, absolutely powerful. Now, another one that I think is superb is the security issue, right? You can go online and research. Security is a very, very big issue in the rideshare industry, because unfortunately, confrontations happen, right, between riders and drivers and vice versa. So we have something called the panic button. So you can press this panic button, and it's going to alert the authorities and pinpoint them to your exact location and connect you with the appropriate people to be able to hear what's going on, see what's going on, and make sure that everyone is safe. Okay, so we do have that panic button feature, which I think is absolutely brilliant and brings a lot of comfort to the rider. So think about this. There's no surcharges. You have all these other features, and you can feel safe here with Tryp Rides as well as a rider and driver. So just a lot of innovations. There's other things like video calls with your driver, which is important to me because I've ordered from the rideshare industry before with other companies, and I would see the individual's picture in the application, but it was a different person that actually came to pick me up. And that can cause a lot of anxiety, right? So here, you're absolutely able to do a video call with your driver. So now you're probably thinking, okay, Bishop, this is mind-blowing, right? I just can't believe 100% of the fare, 100% of the tip, all these other different elements, pay directly and no surcharge. This is absolutely mind-blowing, and you're probably wondering now, where did this come from, right? Where did this whole concept come from? Well, this was envisioned by serial entrepreneurs with over 100 years of combined proven success in disrupting industries over the past several years. And this is really the brainchild, if you will, of our CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Robert McNulty, who I've known for some time. And I can tell you guys that this gentleman is what I call an entrepreneur's entrepreneur. He's a no-nonsense entrepreneur, but he's very, very focused on really turning this into a conglomerate, if you will, in the rideshare industry. And Mr. McNulty is very well known. He has over 40 years of significant experience developing new concepts and technology platforms. Now, I love the statement there, new concepts, because it's all about innovation, right? Bringing forth innovation into the marketplace. Now, in my opinion, this gentleman has already made history. Every one of you on this webinar owe him your thanks if you've bought something online before, because he founded shopping.com, which was one of the world's first online stores. And he served as their president and CEO, and that company was sold for over $500 million. So just an absolute brilliant entrepreneur. Now, the reason I share that quick story with you about shopping.com is because of what I said in the beginning. You got to be a friend of the trend. You got to know consumer behavior and understand that. So that lets you know he understands consumer behavior. He's able to future pace and understand where markets are going. And then we also have on our corporate team, our CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. David Mota. Really, really close personal friend of mine and business partner. And I can just tell you guys that this gentleman is absolutely brilliant when it comes to marketing and understanding building businesses. And he's working in so many different departments here with Tryp Rides, an absolute visionary. and someone that's really helped give birth to this whole Tryp Rides business model and concept. Then we have our CTIO, Rudy Brathwaite, another amazing gentleman that I've had the chance and honor to sit down with. And we also have Ash, who's our Director of Software Development. And then in addition to that, we also have Alex here, who's our CHRO, and Art Richardson, who's our VP of Customer Service, and Jeff Arison, who's our Chief Financial Officer. So you can see that all of these individuals is what I call the dream team, okay? Because each one of them brings a tremendous amount of experience and expertise to their independent skill set, to their independent department. Now, here's one thing I can tell you, being someone who's built companies myself, is that when you're going to build a company, sometimes you can have a product or service that is so good that it grows so fast and companies sometimes implode, right? So you got to have the right team in place. You got to have the right infrastructure to manage the growth. And I can tell you that Mr. McNulty and Mr. David Mota have put together an absolute dream team. So how can you earn here? Well, number one is you can share our app. So every time you share our app with someone, they download the app and they take rides here with Tryp, you're actually able to earn from that and earn income from that. And I'll share with you some real life examples in a moment. But you can also become a driver, which I highly recommend. So when you sign up and partner with Tryp Rides, remember, you get paid instantly. Directly to your bank account. We don't touch it and then give it to you. It goes directly to your bank account. And it's 100% of the fare and the tip every single time. Right now, remember I said shared with you earlier, it is a SaaS business model. So we have that monthly membership of $199. But look, it says right there, if you refer 3 other drivers, your membership is free. So refer 3 and it's free. So what that means, when you refer those other 3 drivers, we waive your monthly fee. Now, I want you to think about this. This means at this point, you have a free business. You're not paying a monthly membership. You're getting 100% of the fare, 100% of the tips deposited directly into your bank account, and we even help you with your customers, the riders, right? So it's just an absolute business model. So think about this right here. How much more income could you bring home to you and your family if this was the case? Right? Now, this is what I call my first hard stop, meaning I could stop the presentation right now, and so many of you would join Tryp Rides right now if I just stopped it right here, right now, because so many people say, Bishop, this is mind-blowing, I'm ready, right? And I can see you guys writing into the chat box, yes, yes, yes. So this is a really powerful concept. But here's one thing I want you to understand. When you refer those 3 drivers and you're just a driver with Tryp, the only thing that happens is you waive your monthly fee. You do not earn any income on referring those 3 drivers. Okay, and if those 3 drivers refer other drivers, you don't earn anything. You only waive your monthly fee. Now, if you are what we call there at step number 3, a Tryp influencer, you would actually still earn on those 3 drivers that you referred to our platform, so on and so forth. Okay, and we're going to go through that here with you in just a moment. It's absolutely powerful, our Tryp influencer package. So you can earn weekly residual cash and bonuses. And then we also have Tryp rewards where you can actually get vacation getaways, cars, and so much more. And so you're probably thinking here that, okay, wait a second. Now, it can't get any better, right? But it can, because you can become part of the Tryp Drivers and Influencers Founders Club. Okay, so you can actually become a founder with our organization, because we are just now launching here in the US market. Now, number one, remember what I said to you earlier. I'm going to share with you something very powerful. I shared with you earlier how Uber and Lyft just did their IPO. They're worth over $70 billion. So imagine if you had shares in Uber or Lyft from the very beginning. Where would you be today? Right? You probably wouldn't be on this webinar, right? You'd be traveling the world, enjoying life or something. But look here, again, the drivers are the backbone of the industry, right? The drivers are our customers. So we want to really make sure the drivers have a home here with Tryp. So with Tryp, you can actually earn stock options and become a shareholder with our organization. Okay, let me repeat that. You can earn stock options and become a shareholder in our organization. Now, it's important, again, that you remember I said in the beginning, we're not trying to get rid of Uber and Lyft. They're amazing companies, right? But what if we just got 1% of the market, right? We would still be a billion-dollar organization if we just got 1% of the market. Do you think that's plausible, having 100% of the fare, 100% of the tip directly deposited into your bank account and now stock options? Could we get and siphon off 1% of the market? Right? So we have loyalty. So as you are helping us facilitate the needs of the riders, and you're out there doing these drives, and you're also helping us build out our driver database, we're going to reward you handsomely from a financial standpoint and help you take care of what my favorite book says, take care of your children's children, right? Leave a legacy here with Tryp as you become part of our family. Now, who can qualify for the stock options? Now, how do you qualify for it? So in order to qualify for the stock options bonus program, you must be an active driver for at least 18 consecutive months. Okay, so for 18 months, you have to be an active driver. So that means you can't drive for 3 months and then stop for 2 months and come back to driving with us. It has to be consecutive. Okay, also, you're able to earn additional shares in our organization, right? You can earn additional stock options because we've kind of gamified the platform, okay? Which means you can earn more stock options based on certain activities and actions that you do. So some of these could be anything from, sharing the app, how many times you share the app, or the rating you get as a driver, and how many ratings you get, so on and so forth, and certain things like that, how many drives you do per month, etc. So we have a gamification element to that as well. But also, this is really important. To be part of the Founders Club, you need to enroll as a driver and an influencer on or within the first 90 days, okay, to take advantage of this stock option program. Okay, so it's absolutely powerful, you guys. Now, here's what I want you to do. If you're excited about this and you're ready to be a driver, okay, get with the person that invited you out to this webinar presentation. They're going to answer whatever questions you have. I see you guys writing questions into the chat box, but we're going to answer those questions. Get with the person that invited you out. They'll answer some additional questions for you, and then they're going to show you and walk you through the process of getting started here with Tryp Rides as a driver. Now, I want to share this with you. Successful people make quick decisions and they change their minds slowly, okay? We're not saying you have to stop driving with any other company or anything like that. We're not saying that, right? We're just showing you additional solutions to some pain points you might currently have, or you may have never driven before, and you're thinking like, hey, I really want to get into the rideshare industry as a driver, and we want you to see this as one of your options, okay? Now, here's what I want to share with you. If you are interested in earning MSIs, which is multiple streams of income with our Tryp Influencers program, what I want you to do is go and watch the next video, okay? Go and watch this next webinar presentation where I'm gonna cover nothing but becoming a Tryp Influencer and show you the different ways you can earn a substantial amount of income here with Tryp Rides, okay? So again, this has been my time. My name is Bishop Stewart, and I will see you in the next presentation and share with you all about becoming a Tryp Influencer, which I think is gonna really blow you away. It's absolutely transformational. I think it's gonna show you a way that you can start getting that transformation you've always wanted in your life to set you and your family free. We have a freedom business model, and that's really our objective, is help more people become free, okay? So I will see you guys in the next presentation. Take care. God bless.